Jamie Overton is probably not ready for Test cricket. It was only last year he was having trouble hitting the cut strip. And if you wonder what that means in real terms, he averaged 76 and was basically unplayable for Surrey.
This is the last snot. My dad told me to say this.
Today he starts his Test journey. And that began with the wicket thanks to Devon Conway's ever-reliable inside edge. And there's been a lot of talk about his run-up and the slight technical changes he has made. But he wasn't missing the wicket because of a slightly long jog or, not holding the ball correctly. It was a mentality thing. And one thing that Surrey, and especially Azhar Mahmood, have done directly is just worked on him on getting his mind right and the way he thinks about cricket. There is no doubt that someone at his height, with pace and some swing, is a Test quality player. But there's always seemed to be just a lot of moving parts to Overton. See what I did there? I took the Jamie and the You'll get it. You'll understand as we go forward. Tall bowlers can sometimes develop later. It's probably something to do with coordination and accuracy. It's one reason why the wobble ball has become more popular. Telling a bowler to come in and just hit a spot is much easier than having them try and find the right length and be able to control the ball when it does start to move in the air. And for tall bowlers, swing is always tricky. For most large quicks, not Kyle Jamieson. When you bowl full, the ball seems to float a bit more, and that's one reason why tall bowler skills on his own. Assembling them was a little messy. Yet his twin, Craig Overton, or Coverton, popped out the womb a near complete package. Coverton will never be a superstar at international level, but he was a near automatic pro. Never that much that could go wrong for him. He isn't that fast, there is barely any swing there, and because he is a seam bowler, he can hit a slightly shorter length, meaning that he retains accuracy. Recently, I was asking some cricket friends if they could name any brothers at the international level where one is an all-rounder and the other is a bowler or a batter. But I'm really talking about specialists. But while the Overtons are both bowlers, quicks, and tall, within that, they're actually nothing alike. Also, Craig can bat. I mean, not really. Not sure why anyone would ever try to push the line that he's an all-rounder. He averages 21 in first-class cricket. That's already a red flag. And it's not from a small sample size either. He's played over 100 games. And in all of those, he's made a single 100. Although there is a reason why he hasn't made that many big scores. It's because he mostly bats at 8 and 9. Which is another tip, he will not make runs at Test level. It's also my favourite bit. He's batted at number 7 in 18 matches. Which is a fair sample size at this point. And when he bats there, his average drops to 15. So at best in Test matches, you'd guess he's a number 9 who can hang around a little bit. Which is also a handy skill. But we need to be realistic about what he can actually do. Overton can bat too, yet weirdly, until recently, his all-round skill wasn't mentioned as much. He also has one first-class 100 and now averages almost identically to his brother. He made a 93 this year and now averages almost identically to his brother. He made a 93 this year and I just happened to be there for that one. He's certainly a more expansive player than his brother. His career strike rate is higher, but there's not too much in his record or what I've seen of him when I've seen him bat to suggest that he's going to be an all-rounder. The real difference between the two of them with the bat is that Craig can hang around and Jamie whacks him a little bit more. But there doesn't seem to be that much special to his bowling. When you have accuracy at his pace with any lateral movement, that means that you're a really good bowler in England. The problem with that is how it translates on the road. In 9 first-class matches, when not in Europe, his average is actually okay. It isn't as bad as you'd think, but in tests, he has been poor. Especially considering the era he has bowled in and then Duke's ball, it's a really high number. The main problem with Overton, though, is probably less to do with the fact that he hasn't turned his first-class record into something better for tests. It's that England just have better guys who are really similar. Ollie Robertson is tall, slow, and skillful, but he's also just better at all of those things than Overton is. And even Stuart Broad plays a similar game. Think about it this way. Does England have another tall bowler who is fast and swings it? Ollie Stone isn't that tall. Bryden Cast doesn't really swing it that much. And Jofra Archer is more of a seamer. So Overton does actually tick a lot of boxes for what they need, or at the least, what they want. And he may not be quite as quick as they'd like, or as polished as they need. But at the moment, he's back in form. And they're so down on their depth charts that Ryan Sidebottom might get a gig. Or they could even go back to Toby Rowland-Jones, who might actually skip over Overton. But when you think about it from an overall point, there is little risk in picking Overton. He's a floor-raising player. He will maintain some pressure, even on the days he doesn't take many wickets. And his batting is handy. And he will happily bowl at the terrible end, because when he was growing up, his brother always got first choice. Overton is way different. His floor is actually really low, and he might not recover for the second innings or for even longer than that. But his ceiling is just way higher. They see him as someone with the skills to dominate Test cricket at home and away. Overton is not currently a better cricketer than Overton, but if he ever gets it right, he could be far more important for England.